Welcome, mortals, to Hades Horror. You've taken a wrong turn, or perhaps the right one, down the road where shadows whisper and the past refuses to stay buried. Here, beyond the veil of the living, we tell the stories they dare not speak aloud. The forgotten, the forbidden, and the fearsome. Tales etched in ash and bone. So, draw your curtains tight, silence your phone, and light a candle if you must. But know this, once you step into my realm, there is no turning back. I'm Hades, and this is your descent into darkness. Let the horror begin. We spent the day with my girlfriend's mother. We stayed pretty late. It was already dark outside by the time we started the drive home. Along the way, we were stopped by a road construction crew making repairs to the highway. Funny, I didn't remember seeing any construction when we drove up to visit. They directed us to take an alternative route. I checked my phone's GPS, and that route would have added hours to our trip. I was already tired. Then I noticed a shorter route and decided to take it. I drove for hours. Elizabeth had fallen fast asleep in the passenger seat. Something felt off. This route was taking much longer than expected, and the road was pitch black. No streetlights for miles in any direction. And then it happened. The car stopped without warning. I had been so focused on the road, I hadn't noticed the gas light had come on. Now we were out of gas. Elizabeth woke up, groggy, and asked, "Are we home?" She looked around and saw we were in the middle of nowhere. "Where are we?" she asked. I didn't know. I checked my phone's GPS. Elizabeth saw the look on my face and asked what was wrong. "I don't have a signal," I told her. She checked her phone. Different carrier, but she had no signal either. "We'll wait for someone to drive by and ask for help," she suggested. The problem was, during the whole drive, not a single car had passed us. No one in front, no one behind, for hours. She asked nervously, "What do we do now?" Normally, I'd just add fuel from the reserve gas can I keep in the trunk and keep going, but it was empty. I'd used it last week on a camping trip and forgot to refill it. So I stepped out of the car to look around. That's when I noticed a farmhouse in the distance, with a faint light coming from a second-story window. I told her, "There's a house up ahead. Wait in the car while I go ask for help." She refused. She didn't want to stay in the car alone. We pushed the car off the road just in case, so no one would crash into it in the dark. We started walking. It was summer, but the closer we got to the house, the colder the air became. We both felt the hair on our arms stand up, like something was warning us not to continue. We reached the picket fence gate. As we opened it, the light in the second-story window went out. I felt bad. Whoever lived here had probably just gone to bed. As we walked up, we noticed the yard was overgrown, the house tattered and in a clear state of disrepair. A rusting old '47 Ford F-100 with blacked-out windows was parked in the driveway. As we approached the porch, I pointed to a "For Sale" sign lying on the ground, dirty and riddled with bullet holes. I joked to Elizabeth, "Hey, we could move here. Be closer to your mom." She gave me a look that said "shut up" and just knock on the door. So I knocked. "Hello? We're out of gas and need some help." No answer. I knocked again. This time, the door creaked open with a long, groaning sound. The room inside was pitch black. All the windows were covered with thick blinds and heavy curtains. I stepped in, just as Elizabeth yanked me back. "What's wrong with you?" she shouted. "Don't you watch horror movies?" I shot back. "Do you want to stay out here all night?" She hesitated, then shook her head. "No." So we both stepped into the house. We looked around. The place seemed abandoned, but a faint light glowed from somewhere upstairs. "Hello," I called out. "Anyone home?" "We're out of gas, if you have some to spare, or if we could use your phone to call a tow truck." No answer. We moved deeper into the house. The only sound was the creaking of our footsteps on the old wooden floorboards. I jumped 3 feet into the air. It was Elizabeth. She pointed to the corner of the room, insisting someone had been standing there, staring at us. I looked. No one. As I tried to calm her down, a rush of cold air brushed across my back, like someone had just walked past me. I froze, eyes scanning the room. Nothing. No one. We started up the stairs. So much for being quiet. Every step we took creaked louder than the last. When we reached the second floor, it was pitch black again. There were 3 rooms. 2 doors were open and the third was closed. That was the room the light had come from. We began walking down the hall. The first room was empty, scattered with old-style clothing all over the floor. As we passed the second room, the air got even colder. Inside was a baby crib and a wooden rocking chair gently swinging back and forth. Elizabeth grabbed me. She wanted to leave, but I kept moving forward until I reached the last door and knocked. "Hello? Anyone home?" Just then, a gust of wind blew. "No!" My nerves gave out. I turned and ran, Elizabeth right behind me, just as the door behind us started to creak open. We made it out onto the porch, and there, sitting where there had been nothing before, was a 5-gallon gas can. I grabbed it without a word and we ran back toward the car. Then I stopped. Elizabeth threw open the passenger door and jumped in, screaming, "What's wrong? Why did you stop?" The car was back on the road. We had pushed it off to the side, but now it was parked neatly on the asphalt. "Who cares?" she shouted. "Let's go already." I poured the gas into the tank, jumped behind the wheel, and hit the gas. But I stopped again, right in front of the house. Elizabeth screamed, now hysterical. "Why are you stopping?" "We can't leave without paying or taking the gas can," I said. She yelled, "Who cares? Let's just go." I jumped out, placed the gas can by the picket fence gate, and tucked $40 underneath it. I glanced up. The light in the second-floor window was on again. I turned, ran back to the car, and drove off. In the rearview mirror, I could still see the faint glow from that upstairs window, until we disappeared into the trees. We didn't speak the rest of the way home. The sun was starting to rise. At the stop sign before turning onto our street, an old, rusting 47 Ford F-100 with blacked-out windows turned the corner and passed by us. I did a double take. It couldn't be. We pulled into our driveway, finally home. Both of us were exhausted. As we walked up to the porch, I noticed a rock pinning down a piece of paper. I picked it up and froze. In my hand was the $40 I had left by the fence and a handwritten note that read, "No charge for the gas. Such a beautiful house you have. If you survived tonight's tale, consider yourself fortunate, but don't stray too far, little mortal. There are so many more shadows to explore, like what you heard. Then, like the video, let me know your soul still lingers. And if you wish to return to the underworld again and again, subscribe. I'll be waiting with the next nightmare. Until then, sleep tight, and remember, the dead aren't always silent.